Right. Welcome to our lesson again. Today we're going to be looking at interior angles of polygons. We'll be looking at exterior angles, which are the angles outside. But in our session today, we're going to be starting to look at the angles that are inside. For example, if you look at this pentagon here, we are talking about the angles that are inside, the interior angles. Okay, we're going to be thinking about what the angles in a pentagon will add up to, the angles in a hexagon will add up to, the angles in a heptagon, sort of any polygon that we could have. Okay, now the interior angles of a polygon are the angles that are inside each vertex. The vertex are the corners here. Okay, now the sum of the polygon's interior angle S is given by, and its number of sides are related by this formula here. That if I want to see what the angles add up to, the S is what the angles add up to. The first thing I need to do is to count the number of sides I have in that polygon. For example, here I've got 5 sides, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So n is the number of sides, which is going to be 5 in our case. So I will do 5, take away 2, because that's what the formula says. And then the answer, I'm going to times by 180 degrees. Okay. So if I want to find the sum of the angles in a polygon like this, which is a pentagon has got 5 sides. So where n is, I put 5. So 5 take away 2 is going to be 3. Now then that 3 I times by 180 using my calculator, and that's going to be 540. Now that basically means is this, that if I was to add these angles up, that angle there, if I was to add it to that, and to add it to that one there, and that one there, and that one there, they would add up to 540. Okay, so this is a formula that you need to understand. We would have drawn triangles inside this pentagon, which basically means that you pick one diagonal, you pick one vertex, and all you need to do is to draw a diagonal all the way to the other side. Okay, and then you pick another diagonal, and vertex again. You draw a diagonal line from that vertex to another vertex without crossing the diagonals inside. And basically, what's going to end up with that? You're going to end up with triangles in this shape, and those triangles for a pentagon would always be 3. Now you know that angles inside a triangle would add up to 180. So in this pentagon, if you are to draw using diagonals through the middle, without the diagonals crossing each other, you're going to end up with 3 triangles. Okay, so that's why you see this go 3 there times by 180. Okay, now so the angles add up to 540 in a pentagon. So what we're going to be doing today, we are finding the missing angles, the missing interior angles in polygons. Okay, now let's look at example 1, which says a pentagon has 4 interior angles of 100. Find the size of the 5th angle. Okay, so we have a pentagon which is 5-sided. We've got 4 angles already, and each one of them is 100. What's going to be the 5th one? Okay, so thinking about a pentagon which will look like this, there are 4 angles already, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. So we're being told that these angles already are 100 degrees, each one of them. Okay, so I've got 100 degrees each one of them. Okay, 100 degrees each one of them. Now I'm being asked what is the size of this 5th angle here. Let's call it x. So that's what they're asking us. Now the first thing I need to remember is that if I wanted to find what the angles add up to, which is what I need to do first, I will need to count the number of sides and take away 2, and then times by 180. That will give us a sum of the angles on the inside. Now a pentagon will have 5 sides, and we take away 2 from that, and we times by 180 degrees. Now 5 take away 2 is 3, times by 180 is going to be 540. Okay, so it means that all these angles, if I was to add them up, I would get 540. So what you need to do, first of all, think about the x, which is the angle you're looking for. If I add it to everything, so 100 plus 100 plus 100 plus 100, which is 400. If I add the x, the 400, that should give us everything, which is 440. So I need to work out what this missing angle is. Obviously, it's going to be 140. And the way to do that is to take the answer, 450, and you subtract this 400. You do the opposite with it. You subtract it. And the answer is going to be, That's going to be 400. That's going to be 140. Okay, so that's fifth angle here is going to be 140. Okay, so that's what we need to understand. So that's just basically the working out of what I've just explained to you. Okay, right. So what I want you to do now is to pause this video, and I would like you to have a go at question 1A, B, C, and D. So pause the video and have a go at question A, B, C, and D. Okay, hope you tried them. Now we've been told that find the sum of the interior angles of a polygon with a six-sided. So six-sided shape is basically a hexagon. So we want to see what the angles inside a hexagon will add up to. Now the first thing you're going to need to do is to use the formula whereby to find the sum of the angles inside, the interior angles, you need to count the number of sides, take away 2, and you times the answer by 180. So when it comes to hexagon, we're going to have 6 sides, take away 2, hexa means 6, and then we times the answer by 180. Now if you do that, you're going to find that we got 4 there, and we times by 180. And the answer to that is going to be 720 degrees. So if I have a 6-sided shape, the interior angles would add up to 720. Now, some of the polygons are regular. They are regular, which means that the sides are equal in length, and therefore the angles are equal in length. Which means that if I want to find what one is, I just share the 720 into 6 if it's a regular hexagon. Okay? Let's pick question C now. Now with question C again, the number of sides is 12, and all you need to do is take away 2 from that, and then times by 180. Okay? So 12 take away 2 is basically 10, times that by 180, the answer is going to be 1,800 degrees. Okay? So if you have a 12-sided shape, the angles inside it will always be 1,800. It means that if I was to draw triangles inside, the triangles would be basically 10. And one triangle is always 180 degrees. Okay? So that's how to do this kind of questions. So if I just show you the answer now, if you just want to mark your answers, suppose the video, and if you just want to mark your answers. So A is 720, B is 1440, C is 1,800, and D is 3,240. Okay. Right, so I would like you now to pause the video again, and you're going to try question 2A quickly. Pause the video and try question 2A. Okay, hope you've tried it. Now, question 2A is asking us, for each of the following shapes, find the sum of the interior angles. So that's the first thing. So this 89 plus A plus 112 plus 41, what will it add up to? Now, the polygon doesn't have to be regular. It could look something that is like this. But the most important thing is that you count the sides. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So these have got 4 sides. So the sum of the angles would be 4 sides take away 2 times by 180. Okay. Now if you do that, this is going to be 2 here. 2 times 180 would be 360. Remember, in 4-sided shapes, in quadrilateral, the angles will always add up to 360, no matter what it is. Now, to find A is easy. All I need to do is add what I have. So I'm going to need to say A plus what I have, plus 41, plus 89. If I add those ones up, I should get 360. So you form an equation. So if you simplify that, I've got 112 there, plus 41 plus 81, which you can add really slowly. So I've got 1 plus 2 there, which is basically 3. 4 plus 1, which is 5, and then I've got 1 there, and of course we add the 89. The answer still should be 360. Okay. Now if I add up the 153, so I've got 9 plus 3, which is basically going to be 12, you carry 1. 8 plus 5 is 13, plus the 1 is 4, you carry 1, and then nothing plus 1 is basically 1, and we add to that one basically, which is going to be 242. And that equals to 360. Okay, so we add that again. 9 plus 3 is 12, carry 1. 8 plus 5 is 13, plus 1 is 14, carry 1. And then nothing plus 1 is 1, plus the the one you carried forward is 2. Now to find what A is, all you need to do is now do 360 take away 242. And that's how to find that. Okay. So if you do that, the answer should basically be 118. Okay. So for part A is going to be 118. And the sum of the angles inside will be 360. Okay. Right, so hope you understood that. In the next video we're gonna try look at example question B and also question C.